Now let's get the Israeli perspective on this and speak to Danny Ayalon, Israel's former ambassador to Washington. Thank you so much for joining us.
Pleasure.
So, of course, these are extremely shocking scenes. As somebody who physically worked in this building, how do you feel watching this play out?
Shocked as everyone else. I have never thought that in my lifetime I would be watching in DC sites like that, which really are reminiscent of banana republics at their worst time. And I hope that the U.S. will get over it as soon as possible and quickly enough, because we all need a strong, United States for stability, for security, and indeed for leading a very, very challenging time.
I was also personally quite surprised to see several Israeli flags within the group of protesters at the U.S. Capitol. Did that surprise you just as much?
Yes, I don't think that we should be in the crossfire between Democrats and Republicans in any way or shape. The secret for excellent relations, special relationship that we've had with the United States for so many decades, was the bipartisan support, where both Republicans and Democrats support Israel, and where Israel does not distinguish between Democrats or Republicans. This has been, unfortunately, changing during Obama's years, but we should not be blatantly put in the middle of that. And I think that was really a disgrace that Israeli flags were involved in what could be called as an attempt of a coup d'etat.
As you and I both know, Trump has been seen throughout his term as a friend of Israel, perhaps Netanyahu's closest foreign political ally. We also have protest movements happening in Israel as well. Do you foresee a situation where protests in Israel could get just as bad?
No, I don't think so. First of all, the Israeli society, if we just compare it, it is not as violent. In the United States, one can argue that because of the rampant weapons everywhere and a history of violence going all the way back to the Civil War and so on, Israel is different. First of all, here. Israel is under attacks all the time, under threats all the time. So yes, we are a very vibrant, pluralistic society, and we can attack each other verbally, but never, ever in a violent way, because once the threat is present and clear, all Israelis, left or right, Haredim or ultra-Orthodox or secular, all unite. So I don't think that this is the case here at all. And also, I think what went wrong also, what added to the fiasco in Washington, D.C., in the Capitol, was that there was no preparedness by the security forces. And I understand this is going to be investigated now. But I think that was really a big, I would say, mistake not to be ready for any such circumstances.
We also know that Biden is set to be sworn in on January 20th. Do we foresee any kind of security situation happening at that inauguration? And are things going to calm down now after this event?
I hope that we saw this was the peak, that from now it's just going to come down. I think that President Trump already said for his people to come down. And I think this could go a long way. And also, I'm sure now that the Capitol Police and the National Guard and maybe other security forces would be much more prepared for any eventuality, and certainly not letting this inauguration, which is, I think, probably the most important and sacred moment of the American democracy, to go bust.
Truly shocking scenes from Washington. Danny Ayalon, thank you so much.
Pleasure.